I'm gonna admit I've eaten a couple of these because I was starving during this whole shoot. So good. An amazing breakfast or lunch or dinner. Second lunch, second dinner, midnight snack. This salsa, super food. I can't even wait. I always judge food that I'm making by the end result when I'm sitting down or I get to serve it to a friend of mine and they're just like mind blown, like so good. And that's what this is. The salsa, the super green, super spicy. Well, not super spicy, but I'm gonna have it spicy. You do not have to have it spicy. And I have these tomatillos. What I'm gonna do with these is just peel them. Take the skins off. Wash them after, it's really sticky. Tomatillos. Crank this on, cast iron. I'm gonna lower this to a medium-high heat. Add all the tomatillos right to it. And I'm gonna add 2 of these jalapeños. And then I have a piece of onion I was just chopping up during the week. I'm gonna add just like about this much, not too much. And then I have a couple cloves of garlic. And we'll get that going. Just gonna move them around a little bit. Looking for a good toast on these, and I want to leave the onion down, face down. I want some good color on that one side. I want that flavor, that toasted flavor, and just to cook off the tomatillos a little bit. So I'll take a little bit of water, and then for this cast iron, I just use the cover to my pot that I would boil pasta with, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of water to this, steam, and steam that just a little bit. For the steam, I did crank this just to get that really going, boiling. Gary's in training. He's going with his adopted parents this week, but he's in training today. Frankie's sleeping somewhere. And add a little bit of oil here. I'll add a pinch of salt to this. Nice. I'm just gonna toast these. I want some good color on them. The garlic, I don't need too much, so I'm just gonna add the garlic right to this once I see them getting brown. Onions getting some good color. It's gonna be delicious. Turning that heat off, start adding everything right to the... Everything except for the jalapeños. Just gonna put those on the bench. Every time. Quick rinse, a little bit of oil. And I just take that paper towel, wipe it out, underneath, all around. And that's how you take care of your cast iron pans, right there. Until the next time. It is so much easier to care for and clean the cast iron when you do it while it's hot. It's just a big, big point. If you leave it to get cold, everything will stick on it. Then you gotta scrub it with a Brillo pad or a metal scrubber, and then you gotta re-season it. The way I've been doing it every single video and showing and just sharing the good habit is just clean it right when it gets off the heat. And then it's just so easy to keep doing that. Just gotta remember. For the jalapeños, cut off the ends. Cut them right down the middle. If you do not want them spicy, take the seeds out. I'm gonna leave seeds in one. I'll cut this down the half again because it makes it easier. And then just take the seeds out in the center part. This nice toasty jalapeno flavor is gonna be delicious. I'm just gonna add that jalapeno right to it. And we're gonna blend. Taste this quick. Oh, it's got some good flavor. We're gonna make it super green, super delicious, and creamy. And to do the creamy, I am gonna add 1 avocado. I'm just gonna take that top off. It's a little baby seed in this. Squeeze it right in here. This will help smooth it out. Also take some of that heat away. We have the avocado in there. Cilantro, I'm just gonna take like that much, not much. It's like a small, half a handful. And I also have some baby spinach. Now the baby spinach is gonna make it super bright, vibrant green. Add some more nutrients to it. Good size handful. And you can see that right there. Pop the cover back on, and we'll blend that. Just gonna add that salsa right to it. Yum. Oh, that's good. It's just the right amount of spice. If you want, you could add a lime. You could add some lime zest, but I like this just the way it is. You could use a food processor if you want it thicker and more chunkier. But for this, what we're making today, I want it exactly like this. And this will last me probably a couple days. Gonna pop a lid halfway and put this in the refrigerator to chill down. Next, I did a video a while back. I'm gonna make the seasoning, that same seasoning blend in the nutritional yeast seasoning episode, which I'll link below, because I use it constantly. I've used it in the past couple of videos, and I'm always making them. And these are such an amazing gift with the holidays coming up soon. I know it's not yet, but soon. It's such an amazing thing, or just for yourself, to make all these blends of seasonings so you have at your arsenal a whole bunch of different ones. How about you stop messing around, Tony? What do you want for dinner? Why don't you up your game? Make me something with that good stuff in it. It's all right, baby. We'll make it through this together. 6 of my addictive, performance-enhancing seasoning blends, and they make amazing do-it-yourself gifts for that chef in everybody. Eggspired by breakfast. Get it? 3 cups of the beast. Turmeric, black pepper, onion powder, black salt or namak, granulated garlic, and starch. Last but not least, smoked paprika. Once you get that pulsed up, just like this, take this off. Make this even easier. I'm gonna use this parchment paper. We'll take the seasoning mix, and then I just add it right to the top of this parchment paper. It's just a good, handy little tip to make less of a mess, and I'm all about keeping things clean. This, you can pick it up and just add it right to it. And then I'll save this parchment paper, just tap it out, use the other side. And there we have our Eggspired seasoning. Eggspired. All right, first I'm gonna show how to do this recipe with russet potatoes. And I chose these potatoes. It has the most starch. I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. This recipe is amazing. Several different ways and several different ingredients we can use. Just a medium-sized sauce pot. I'm just gonna add some water. Not much. I'm gonna use that parchment paper that we had earlier. Another great use of it, just for ease of cleanup. I don't like making a mess. I don't like having to clean up. I do it because actually I do like cleaning up. It's fun, it's easy. Now you do not have to peel these if you wanna keep it even easier, but I'm doing it for aesthetics. You know, we eat with our eyes first, so that's what I'm going for. And this is how I would serve it in a restaurant. One. So I just save these parchment papers, the ones that I don't want to cook with, and just use it for this. Very easy cleanup. Next, dice these. It doesn't matter what size they are. They're all going to be cooked in the end. Right to the water. I think there's a little bit too much water in here, so I'm just gonna dump some of this out. I've been testing this recipe for the past month, and I've made it several times, and I'm just gonna share with you to do at home or your restaurant. Next ingredient, I'm gonna use our white beans, and we're gonna rinse them out. Good. Now these are just white cannelli beans. I'll let them sit there and drain for a minute. I have a whole bunch of bowls and restaurant equipment It's just the way I like to have things. But I'm gonna be doing 4 of these, yeah? So I have 4 different bowls. When you make this, which I hope you really do, you can do whichever one you want, or both, or all 4. Next up, I have a block of tofu, and all I did earlier was open it up, strained it out, and then I just let it sit here. I had to go to the store, and I just let it sit in this thing in the refrigerator. So 1 block of tofu is going in 1. I also have tempeh, 1 block of tempeh. I'm actually gonna break them both. Half of them are going in 1. Half of them will go in the other. Half of the other one go to, half of the other will go in the other. And I'm just gonna break it with my hands. So that's pretty good. I'll try to take a little bit off, make it even. Okay, so I'm just gonna crush these up with my fingers here. Crush it up as fine as I can. Okay, so we have tempeh there. Potatoes are looking good. Yes, I might lower this heat a little bit so it's not such rapid, crazy boil. I'm gonna boil these until they break apart. When I'm developing recipes, I try to look for the most efficient way to do it at home and then also in the industry. So I use that to knowledge at home to make it easier for you to make them, remove that barrier, that obstacle. Because I really do believe making food at home saves me a lot of money. You know, nowadays it just tastes better. I can just make it at home. So that's gonna keep boiling. I'm gonna break up the tofu, each one. I don't have to be perfect about it. It's gonna break up when I finish some of the other things as well. And I'm not trying to be cryptic. I'm trying to think this through in my head. And you just see some of the process I have of developing recipes. And I'm just gonna move that to the side. So we have our beans here, and I'm just gonna put half in one with the tofu, and then half is gonna go with the tempeh, and that's gonna be in the bowl. Right now, this bowl is empty and just has the beans. This bowl has all the tempeh in it. I'm trying not to be confusing. Only because I need to do one more thing to the tempeh before we do it. It's gonna require, at least for my taste, one more step. These potatoes are done, I'm shutting that water off. Now, for this, instead of boiling a whole nother pot of water or even turning on my kettle, I'm just gonna take this water from the potatoes and we're gonna steep that tempeh, okay? Now I'm gonna set these over on the side to cool off. So I'm gonna let this sit and soak, and you can see we have the beans, half beans in there, half beans in here with half a tofu here, and then the tempeh. If I was gonna make this again at home, instead of just sharing, because I'm doing this for the sole purpose of sharing it, I would use a whole can of beans with a whole block of tofu. That'd be one. A whole block of tempeh, and then a whole can of beans as well. And then the other 2 are gonna get potatoes, but I just want them to cool down enough. And I'll give that a couple minutes. You're gonna wanna see what the end is because it's another game changer, like so good. And that's what this is. I have that strainer that I had the beans in. I'm just gonna strain this tempeh. All right, and I'll just rinse it off. Cold water. And I'm gonna let this strain while the potatoes cool. For now though, I'm gonna use the ones with the beans and the tofu, the one with beans and tofu. So we have that Eggspired seasoning. This is really important. Now you guys can play with this. I'm gonna add 1 big tablespoon for now. Maybe I'm gonna add a little bit more. So 1.5 tablespoons. I'm gonna mash these beans first. And then mash the tofu in with it. I wanna make a nice consistency that's gonna stick and clump together. And I might add a little bit more. Turmeric? Just a little bit, like 1/4 teaspoon. And just sprinkle that on. Do that with each of them. So I'll just add 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric to each of these, to the beans and the other one soon. And I went out and bought some nice gloves. Gonna mix that up. So we have the tofu bean. It's just strictly Eggspired flavored. Okay, so we have that one right there, ready to go. That's the tofu and bean. I have the potatoes. I'm gonna add half of these potatoes. And remember, there's no animals here, so there's no cross-contamination. I am not worried about that at all. Another benefit of eating more plants and just cooking plant-based. So I have the tofu and potato. Same thing. I'm gonna add 1 scoop of the Eggspired seasoning. And because I wanna have a little bit different ones, I went out and bought some fajita blend. And you can use whatever fajita taco blend you want. I'm just gonna add, oh, I hate the sprinkles. I'm just gonna add about 1/2 teaspoon. I just want that flavor in it, so we'll have a little bit different flavors. And then, again, mashing them with the tofu. I'm gonna mash it up with my hands. It's a little bit easier after you get the initial done. So the reason why I want to use a glove for this is just for the turmeric. I don't need my hands looking yellow all day today. I have to go do some things later, so. But I want to make sure that that potato is like really crushed and mashed into it. And as we do that, and as it sits, it's gonna get yellower. I'm just gonna put a cover on that other one. It's gonna get yellower from that turmeric, and it's gonna take on the yellowness of egg, which is great. It's exactly what I'm looking for. So I'm just gonna load this up again. Potato, you get a little bit more than the beans. Okay, so I have potato. I'm gonna put that over here. Potato and tofu, so I can label it. Quick cleanup. Back again. I have the tempeh here. Gonna add half that tempeh to the beans. And I have the potato. I'm gonna add that to this, and then also the rest of that tempeh. So now we have tempeh potato, tempeh and beans. I'm gonna use 1 scoop of the Eggspired into the potato, and then 1 scoop of the Eggspired, it's just 1 large tablespoon, into the tempeh and the beans. I flavored the potato, so I'm gonna flavor the bean. So it's just a little bit of barbecue seasoning. I'll probably add a teaspoon into the one with the beans and the tempeh. Maybe I'll add a little bit of cumin to the ones, maybe a teaspoon to the potato and tempeh. And then I'm just gonna mash them up together. Make sure you get it all in there. It's just like a refried bean consistency. All right, and this one's gonna be a little bit red because of that seasoning. Bowl there, just plop that in there. Tempeh bean, same with the other. Potato, so I just crush the one. I can feel them with my fingers. That's why I like doing it with my hands, and I can make sure that they're all crushed up. Set these to cool. Normally I would do it overnight, because that's the best result. I'll show you. So I did these ones yesterday, just because I want to prove to myself that this works. And you can see, look at how vibrant yellow these are, right? I've been eating these all week. Labeled and professional, going into the cooler. Back in a second. So it's been about 2 hours. I went out and ran some errands, and they are looking fantastic. Tortillas, a little towel, just to keep them moist, soft. I went out and bought myself a nice little, this is a 2.5 or 2 3/4 ounce scoop. Stove, cast iron. Gonna lower that to a medium-high heat. This heat on this burner is super high, so get it nice and hot, and then I'll lower it as we go. Tofu potato. This is a great recipe to make it the night before, the morning of. Just gonna take a scoop right in the middle. Another one, right in the middle. Another one, right in the middle. Press down. Just keeping it all on the tortilla. Little test, so that's hot, great. I'm gonna add oil just to cover the bottom, face down. I can do 2 at a time with this size pan. I'm just gonna press these down. Now, if you had a bigger skillet, you could do more at a time. This is my biggest cast iron, so this is the 12-inch cast iron that I have. I have a 10 and a 12, so I'm just using the biggest one. If I had a flat iron griddle, I could do a lot more at once if I was doing a catering event or restaurant. Beautiful. A little bit of the cheese. And I want to flip them before it gets too crispy on the exterior of the tortilla, just so it's more pliable, so I can flip it. Adjust the heat if it needs to be lowered. This is how you do it. Tofu and bean. Same thing, it's got pretty much the same consistency. It's a little bit wetter. And just spread it out. Super mindful of that. The cast iron pan here, the heat is much more in the center on this burner. So just learning how to use the flame, whether it's an induction burner, whatever kind of burner it is, always being mindful of the way that flame is hitting. Beautiful. A little bit of the cheese. The oil, if you're running low. Perfect. Gorgeous. Look at this. Beautiful. Once you start doing a few of these, though, you'll get the hang of it. Look at that bad boy. Amazing. You know, I'm gonna admit I've eaten a couple of these because I was starving during this whole shoot. I have noticed a couple things, but let me give this a shot. This is the bean and tempeh, and I already noticed that this is the densest one. So good. A little bit of cabbage on here. Some fresh tomatoes I got from my friend's garden. Yum. So good, so delicious. This salsa, super food, super green salsa. Or Dutch spinach. I think it just helps cut down the heat, but I let it sit overnight and it's delicious. This is so good. It's good with the little bit of extra crunchy with the cabbage. Of course, the jalapeños, always good. They're all super good. It's up to you. I wouldn't expect somebody to make all of these. Pick one every other week, pick another, and just a really good breakfast item like this would be an amazing breakfast. Guys, this is the base. You do whatever you would like to improve on them, because this is just me playing around. You could add chopped jalapenos to these, chopped onions, whatever you want, as long as you are conscious of when you're cooking them and folding them. But you could just reheat these, eat them to order. I've eaten so many of them this week. I appreciate you for supporting the channel, sharing the channel with your friends. If you haven't already, please subscribe, because it does help push in the algorithm or whatever the heck they're doing. If you like this video, check out these videos over here, because I have a lot more coming up. Have a great rest of the week, rest of the day, rest of the month. Thanks for having fun. Thanks for eating more plants. Super appreciate you.